I'm here today with Grant Verstandig. Grant founded Audax Health Solutions, Grant, when you were 21 years old. The story is you dropped out of Brown University. Give us a little background on that.
Yeah, I was playing sports in college and also had a passion to be the first doctor in the family. And so I was obsessed with medicine and health for some odd reason at a really young age. And those two worlds collided and ended up having 7 surgeries on my right knee and had an aha moment that really was, if you can't empower yourself and engage for yourself, nobody else will in the healthcare system. And so I decided to drop out of college and build a company that was going to change the world and focus on the patient.
And a little over 3 years later, you ended up selling the company extremely successfully to Optum, which is, in my experience, pretty unheard of to go from an idea, conception, start a company at any age and be able to get that kind of success in such a short period of time. Have you thought about how much of that was just being at the right place in the right time, and how much of it was recruiting the right people in and being able to build the company the way you wanted to?
I think timing's everything. Yeah. So I was very fortunate in that, when I started the company in late 2010, you had Obamacare, all the swirl around healthcare reform. It was the first time people really put their focus on healthcare on a public stage and the discrepancies of cost and quality, and how patients are basically left to the side. And then I also firmly believe it's about the team you build. I was very fortunate to have mentors like you and build a team around me. I always played team sports, and so the best teams in the world aren't individuals that happen to play on a team. It's the sum is greater than the whole of the parts. And so we had an amazing team that we built that had nothing to do with healthcare. They were all consumer-focused guys because we wanted to start with the patient and work our way backwards, and that made us really unique, and the timing worked out really well.
So when I think about healthcare and all the publicity around the fact that we've got $2.7, $2.8 trillion of investment in the U.S., it's basically unsustainable, we know, without any inflation, and we know it's inflating. And we spend about twice per capita what anyone else in the world does, and yet we still don't have everybody covered. So as you think about healthcare, how do you think we can change it in a way that will really make it a different, I think of it like a noble cause, something that will help society be able to get a better quality service for something that will become affordable?
Yeah, and I think at the core, those are some of the best businesses, ones that people can get behind and feel like they're changing the world, but then also obviously have a huge economic impact as well. And so for me, when I look at healthcare in general, you can look at, in the United States alone, we actually over-test for things because we've built an infrastructure where patients can't hold themselves accountable. So you walk into a doctor's office or a hospital, and a doctor will just go and do 30, 40 things because that's how they were compensated before. Now with healthcare reform and with technology, and particularly mobile, people now have the power of the internet and the sum of 5.9 billion people on their phone, and now you're getting a higher level of intelligence and precision, not about people like me, but really me, in terms of the services I need. And so I think if you start to look at prevention, wellness, and how people can engage earlier in their illnesses and diseases, that's the only hope that the U.S. has to take that $2.8 trillion number and, instead of growing every year at 7 or 8%, start to buck the trend and become more sustainable. Because to your point, it'll be 20% of GDP in a few years, and that course without inflation alone is completely unsustainable. So I think people need to take care of themselves and have a true empowerment and accountability shift in how we think, and technology is the greatest thing in the world to do that.